Hello, hello, hello. This is Adrienne Berg, and this is the Ageless Traveler. And I am revisiting a place that I absolutely fell in love with. It is a botanic garden. You find it in Tonga. It's an island, one of the islands in Tonga. It's located in the village of Tuaneki Valley. I like to say that, Tuaneki Valley. I'm saying everything wrong. It doesn't matter because you're going to go there and you're not going to go there to speak. You're going to go there to see. Where are you going? You're going to the Eneio Botanical Gardens. So this is a very, very special place in all seriousness. It is a beautiful, beautiful, large botanic garden, one of the only in the world that has healing plants, tropical plants, indigenous plants. And it is one of the great tourist attractions that you can go to in the South Pacific, and an extremely easy one to do if you're on a shore excursion. And I don't want you to miss it. And so we have Lucy Faanunu, who is here, and she is the proprietress, the CEO now of this beautiful garden, which was started by her husband. And this is one of these great ecological phenomenons of the world. So thank you so much, Lucy, for being with us today.
Thank you very much, Adrienne.
Now, let's start with the history. This botanical garden has a very, very unique history because really it's a one-man show. Tell us how it started.
The whole botanical garden was started by Haniteli Faanuno. He's the founder of Tonga's only botanical garden. When he got his land when he was 8 years old, he said it really empowered him as a person, what he would like to do with his land. And he said that every time he goes to Sunday school, he learned about the Garden of Eden. So it was always in his mind that when he grew up, maybe he can start developing a botanical garden that will be like the Garden of Eden. So Haniteli got scholarship, went and studied tropical agriculture in the University of the South Pacific and also in the University of Hawaii as well. So when he came back, he worked for the government for 38 and a half years, and he became the director for the Ministry of Agriculture.
I was so impressed. I walked in, and it truly was like the Garden of Eden, as you mentioned. How many plants are there? And give us a taste of some of the plants that are there that are for healing.
Yes. There's over 20,000 plants in the botanical garden, but over 150 plant families and over 550 plant cultivars. There's a lot of medicinal plants, and they're Asian introduction, meaning that they were introduced by the early Tongans in their journey to Tonga. Tongans came from in the highland of Taiwan. They came to Malaysia, and then from Malaysia to Indonesia, and from Indonesia to Papua New Guinea, Papua New Guinea to Vanuatu, and made it to Tonga. So along the journey, they brought a lot of different species with them because it was part of their livelihood and also for medicinal and healing purposes. Like, for example, with tui tui. Tui tui is candle nut in English. The Tongans would use the whole as wood for construction in the early days, but also the inner part, we use it for the dye to make the intrinsic design in the top. Also, the young leaves of the tui tui, we use it for mouth infection for infants. So we bound it, press it, and that is supposed to cure the mouth infection with infants. But also why it's called candle nut, because the nut is very high in oil. We will crack the nut in a little skewer and dry it, but also you burn it, and it's very high in oil, and that's why it's called candle nut, because it gives lighting. Also, we polish the nut and make necklaces. As you can see in Hawaii, that's the stick tree as well. It's called kukui. But at the same time, with the nut itself, very high in oil, we also make beautiful oil from the candle nut or the tui tui. It's the only oil that do not solidify in very cool temperature. Other oil made from the coconut would solidify. If it's pure candle nut, normally it doesn't solidify. Also, at the same time, the ink is like the ink that we use for the intrinsic design of the tapa, which was clothing in the early days. In the wood, and the big wood, they use it for construction in the early days.
So this must be the most versatile nut in the whole world that does everything. And if you've seen the beautiful fabrics of Tonga, you'll know that it is a very artistic tool as well. But this is the kind of story you'll get when you go to this beautiful botanic garden. Now, there are more stories, a lot of stories. Some of them are really hair-raising stories too. So Lucy, tell us another one of those stories. Pick out another plant, because that's exactly what she does. As you walk hand in hand with whoever you're strolling through this Garden of Eden, you'll hear the stories of each plant. I mean, there were 20,000 of them, but I'm sure I heard at least 20 great stories. Tell us another one.
I would like to talk about the Heilala, because Heilala is our state flower. That's the state flower of Tonga. So we have two varieties. One is the Heilala pulu, which is the deep red, very common in Tonga. But also we have the Heilala Faanuno, much like yellowish, because the flower of the coconut is light yellow. So that's why it's called Heilala Faanuno. So there are two varieties of the Heilala. We use it for a beautiful neck garland for His Majesties. Like the king and the queen, if they are visiting, you can't give less than a Heilala. It must be a Heilala neck garland, because that's the state flower of Tonga. It's got a nice fragrant smell, and the origin is Fiji. We colonized Fiji for over 300 to 400 years, and we got the Heilala from Fiji, very fragrant, very beautiful. So there is a good medicinal uses of also the young leaves. The young leaves also, if you have stomach elements, we chew it 6 leaves, and that is supposed to heal your stomach ache or stomach elements. So even though it's the state flower of Tonga, but it also got very good healing properties in the Heilala. So our beauty pageant is also called Heilala Beauty Pageant. So the Miss Heilala for this year, normally they do the whole celebration in July. So that's why we use our state flower of Tonga as Miss Hay, because it's very significant to our culture.
Before we go on, I'll take a little bit of a break. We'll take a short break. We'll come back, and don't you guys go anywhere. Did you know that 3,000 people receive the Ageless Traveler newsletter every single Tuesday, and it's free of charge? Well, you simply subscribe on our website, agelesstraveler.com, when you see the pop-up, or take a look at the resource section that's in the show notes accompanying this episode. You'll also see how directly you can subscribe to our newsletter. Now, what will you find in there? Well, every single week, you will get news you can use about travel, cultural experiences you can enjoy, suggestions for luxury travel for less, and yes, I answer your questions. And you can even send me those questions by text or voicemail, and you'll see just how to do it when you receive your Travel Tuesday newsletter. Plenty of discounts, plenty of inspiration, so that you never stop traveling. That's agelesstraveler.com. Take a look at the pop-up, subscribe, or take a look at our resource list accompanying this and every episode, so that you get a direct link to Travel Tuesday. And now we're back, and we're here with Lucy Faanunu, and she is the proprietress right now of one of the most important ecological gardens in the world, created by her husband with the idea that there's such a thing as a Garden of Eden, and he certainly did create it with 20,000 plants. You'll find it in Vavau, an island in Tonga. If you go to the South Pacific, it's very close to the cruise ports. You have no problem getting there. And if you are spending some time in the South Pacific, you're going to want to visit this glorious garden. Now, Lucy, you told us about some of the plants, but I do want to point out that the garden is not the only thing you offer. You have wonderful events, you have food, you have experiences all around the ecological value of this garden. Tell us some of the things that a tourist might encounter when they go visit you.
The botanical garden is the first thing you see as you come to Eneio Beach. So the botanical garden, it's about 3 minutes walk to one of the well-known beach in Vavau called Eneio Beach. So from there, it's more like also a visitor center. So when people come to the botanical garden for a tour, there is a bar and a restaurant where they can sit and have a full 180 degrees view of the beautiful ocean. of Eneio Beach. Also, we have food available. You can order fish and chips or chili chicken, beef, vegetable. We also have varieties of drink, including coconut and so forth. People can also come for a swim. For our guests, it's free for you to come and enjoy our beautiful, beautiful beach. And at the same time, it's very safe. We also have an ocean swimming pool, meaning the rocks are put to the side like a U. This is a very safe haven for those who would love to come and have a swim.
Yes. Now, I spent a whole month last year, the month of December, going through the South Pacific, starting in Hawaii, going all the way to Melbourne, Australia. And we visited many, many, many islands. But I will say that the Eneio is a garden really impressed me. So this is a place to go among all other places. In fact, it could be a destination in and of itself because we all have these fantasies about what a South Pacific island is like. And when you go to your botanic garden with the beach, with the drinks, let us be honest, with the ocean and the sand and the ecological information that you get in the garden, you really do feel that fantasy that you've created in your own mind of what it's like to loll on a South Pacific beach. It's a very picturesque. It comes out of the movies. Now let's go back to the garden, though. The garden is very large, as you say, 20,000 plants there. Many of them are indigenous to the South Pacific. That was the point, I think, part of the point of your husband's vision here. They're things that you can't see anywhere else. So tell us about some of the plants that really are so unique in the garden.
Some of the plants that are quite unique in the garden that a lot of people don't have is, number one, it's becoming endangered, is the hair. Hair is one of the plants conducive to this village, Heilala, and it's becoming endangered. So what we have done, basically we try and bring it, propagate it, and at the same time grow it so that we can preserve this endangered plant species. Another one that most people don't see or hear of is the Te'epilo Maui. Te'epilo is fat. Maui is the legendary god. So it's normally in English, we can say the fat of Maui plant. When I ask kids, have you seen Te'epilo Maui? They said no. So a lot of people have not seen these indigenous plants. It's got a very offensive smell. When the flower starts to open up, when we have the tour, I will pick the flowers and give it to the guests to smell. And when they smell, they said, this is very, very offensive smell. But that's why the plant is called Te'epilo Maui, or the fat of Maui. So also another plant that it's a lot of the Tongans don't like to plant behind their backyard is tauhi. Tauhi flower is very frequent smell, and also the leaves. But it also does good healing in terms of inflammation. If you have inflammation around your throat, normally we pound it and then press it and smoothen it on that area. Like if it's on your throat or around the underarm. But we want people to come. We want them to learn about the flora and fauna of Tonga, and at the same time appreciate the preservation that Haniteli have built in this 22 acres botanical garden. Another thing that we love the guests to come is also to educate them about the endangered plant species, and also the recent introduction plants, also the Asian introduction plants that the early Tongans brought with them. Like for instance, like the coconut is well known in the Pacific as the tree of life, because nothing is wasted in the coconut. So there's so much that people can learn when they come in to the botanical garden.
You may have been reading in our Travel Tuesday newsletters that travel increases your longevity. Over and over again, the research shows why. You make more connections, you thwart loneliness, and you simply have a great time. So why not get started now from your armchair? Simply go to agelesstraveler.com and see our invitation that asks you right on the homepage to join our Facebook salon. We call it a salon, not a group, because it's a place to meet people, to connect, to travel together, to share your travel experiences. So simply go to agelesstraveler.com and join our Facebook salon. Tell us the name of the tour we should look for when we are on a ship.
In terms of the cruise ship, we have a tour package that is sold in the cruise ship. When they come in, it's called the Polynesian Counter Tour. They will come in for a guided tour, walking tour in the botanical garden. So we normally don't cover all the plants, but we will cover only very significant ones in terms of indigenous plants, the Asian introduction, and some of the important plants in terms of healing properties. And then after that, we go back, and then we go to the restaurant with the set, and the local women will demonstrate how to husk the coconut, how to scrape the coconut, squeeze the coconut cream, weave the coconut fetches that make the shelter in the early days, also make the whole bola, we call it like plate in those days. Also the basket that we used to bag crops for sale. Also that we pick our rubbish. We use those coconut basket. Also when we go fishing, we take those baskets. Then we also have another demonstration on how the Tongans use the paper mulberry for clothing, which we call tapa. This is the paper mulberry that gave clothing to the Tongans. But also this is used in our culture, festivity, funeral, and much more. Then we also have a difference out of the vanilla, because also vanilla is an export commodity from Tonga. We export to overseas countries, and most of the Americans are the connoisseur of vanilla. We demonstrate that. We also demonstrate how we process kava. Kava is the social drink for us Tongans, and it's only men that drink the kava. And we do the demonstration as well. And then we give it out for guests to try the kava drink. Another one is the bandanas. Bandanas is what makes our woven mats. It's like your floor carpet. But we also use it in our festivity. When a young girl gets married, her mother will fold up nicely the tapa with the mats and then offer to the new husband. So we also demonstrate how we cut the bandana sleeve, do the whole processing, remove the front parts, and then do the fatete puaka, which is the whole rolling of the lower gown or the bandana leaves, and then demonstrate how we do the weaving.
Yes, we asked our cab driver, our taxi driver, to take us to Eneio Beach. And that's how we discovered the Botanic Garden. And we also hadn't read about it because it is in Wikipedia. This is a very, very famous ecological spot that you shouldn't miss. Now, before we end this, I do want to ask you, how sustainable is this? We know that it started with one person, your husband. We know that because of you, it is staying the very vibrant tourist area that it is today. Is there a future for expanding it? What are you looking for the future?
That's one thing that we want to expand and upgrade our fencing of the botanical garden, so that we don't have livestock getting into the botanical garden and it destroy it. But at the same time, I'll be trying to train my two sons that are with me and also a team of my staff. I want them also to be trained in learning to do the tour as well. Because now Haniteli Faanuno will be 80 on his birthday next year on the 22nd of August, because that's when we commissioned the botanical garden. The Princess, Her Royal Highness Princess Filolebo, commissioned the botanical garden on the 22nd of August, 2006. That's when we opened the garden for the first time to the public on Haniteli's birthday. Now he will be 80 next year, so it's very important for us to build our capacity so that we are sustainable in doing the tour and offer this special service to the guests, the tourists, and also the local people. Another thing that I also would like to expand is looking at a mechanism where people can make donation if they wish to keep the botanical. This is Tonga's only botanical garden sustainable. Also, we give like trail in the garden, name the trail. They will sponsor 5 years or more, and that trail we talk about them in the botanical garden. We also hope that we will build accommodation in the future. We're talking to the bank also. If people can come, especially the nature lovers, stay and then also visit the botanical garden. I think there's a lot of work for us to do in the future, but we do it in small steps as we go.
So I'm so happy to be able to feature and shine a light on this one particular area of the world that should not be missed, that is too often missed. Although, as you say, usually if you are on a ship going in the South Pacific on a leisure cruise and you take a look at that particular tour, it usually is sold out. So and that's exactly what happened to me. So I want everybody to listening. If you are taking one of those trips, don't despair when you say that it's sold out, or get there early and make sure that you have booked that tour before you get on the ship. That's the best way to do it. But if you didn't, then get yourself a cab and get out there. It is just a wonderful experience on every single level. Now I have something special for you. If you love honest conversation about aging well, and I know you do, you'll want to check out my friend's podcast. Her name is Wendy Green. Boomer Banter is the podcast, and she talks with experts and everyday people just like us about navigating life after the age of 60, from purpose and relationships to health, the money, and meaning. It's available wherever you listen to podcasts. Now, she's got something brand new for you that I'm offering you. It's absolutely free of charge. If you're a little stuck about what's next in your life, take her free What's Keeping You Stuck quiz. It's a fun, eye-opening way to discover what might be holding you back and how you can move forward. And you'll find it right on our show notes. Take a look at the show notes and you will see the Not Stuck Renewed website. You go right there. And it's fantastic because I tell you, many years ago, I had a wonderful podcast on aging, but the truth was I loved travel and I was stuck. I didn't know how to move into something as rewarding to me as the Ageless Traveler. So doing this kind of thing to get you unstuck can really change your life. Take a look at the show notes and say hello to Wendy for me. And I thank you, Lucy, and I will tell everybody else what I always say. Please go to agelesstraveler.com. Please subscribe to our free Travel Tuesday newsletter. Join our free salon, get our free ebooks, and listen to us and give us a good boost rating on Apple and Spotify. But above all, never stop traveling.